Before fire, darkness ruled as the great equalizer. When the sun slipped beneath the horizon, the Stone Age world became a realm of predators and phantoms. Our ancestors, fragile and fearful, huddled in caves or clung to trees, surrounded by unseen eyes. Every rustle in the grass, every echoing cry could mean death. Yet in that terror, thought was born. Imagination flickered like an unseen flame, shaping shadows into spirits and danger into stories. The night became both enemy and teacher, forcing humankind to see with the mind when the eyes could not. In fear's heart, awareness quietly began to awaken. Fear was humankind's first teacher. Long before language or reason, fear shaped every breath of survival. When night fell, the world became a living threat. A twig snapping, a growl from the dark, each sound carried a lesson. Those who listened lived. Those who ignored vanished. Fear sharpened the senses, carving awareness into fragile minds. It taught patterns, movement, and the rhythm of danger. Over generations, instinct evolved into understanding. Fear whispered, "Be alert or be gone." From its shadow, imagination flickered to life. The fearful learned to think ahead, to read the world before it struck. Fear did not weaken humanity, it awakened it. As the moon rose and the night deepened, the world grew silent, but inside the human mind, new voices began to stir. Imagination awoke where sight ended. The rustle of leaves became whispers of spirits. The flicker of shadows became ancestors watching from beyond. Huddled families shared these unseen visions, weaving fear into story and mystery into meaning. Around the glow of memory, storytelling was born not through words, but through shared emotion. The darkness that once terrified them became their first mirror, reflecting the birth of thought, of language, and of the dreaming human soul. Beneath a storm-torn sky, lightning split the heavens and set the forest ablaze. Fire raged through the night, devouring trees and driving animals into panic. But amid the chaos, one small figure did not flee. A child stood still, eyes wide with wonder, drawn to the strange, living light. When the storm passed, they approached the glowing embers, feeling their warmth against trembling fingers. Curiosity stirred a question no creature had ever asked. What if this power could be ours? In that single moment, humanity's greatest spark was born not of fire, but of thought. As the storm's fury faded, the world fell quiet once more. The tribe huddled in darkness, yet something within them had awakened. The memory of fire lingered, its warmth, its glow, its untamed power. The night no longer felt eternal. For the first time, humanity looked into the unknown and saw possibility instead of terror. Curiosity had replaced fear. The world itself was unchanged, but the human spirit was not. A single thought had sparked the dawn of discovery. It began with chaos. Thunder shattered the heavens as lightning clawed through the clouds, igniting the heart of an ancient forest. Flames roared like beasts unleashed, consuming everything in their path. Smoke thickened, and terrified animals stampeded through the trees. From a distant ridge, a small tribe watched in awe and horror. To them, fire was alive, a raging spirit that destroyed without mercy. Yet among the fleeing figures, one remained still. He did not run. He watched. In the reflection of the burning sky, curiosity flickered. The forest burned, but in that moment, something far greater was kindled, the awakening of human wonder. When the storm finally passed, silence fell over the forest. Smoke drifted through the air, carrying the scent of ash and earth. The tribe crept forward, their eyes fixed on the glowing remnants of destruction. Fire still breathed softly, dangerously within the charred remains. Heat shimmered, both inviting and deadly. One figure stepped closer, trembling, hand outstretched toward a glowing branch. A flash of pain, a cry, then awe. The others watched as the brave one tried again, this time with stone and stick trapping a spark. Within a hollow log, they carried it back, their prize alive with light. In that fragile glow, humanity's oldest enemy became its first ally. At first, fire was a perilous friend. Sparks leapt without warning, scorching skin and scattering fear. Food burned to ash, smoke filled lungs, and mistakes were costly. Yet pain became the price of understanding. Slowly, the tribe learned. Dry twigs fed the flame, stones guarded its heart, and breath could guide its strength. Nights once ruled by predators now glowed with safety. Eyes in the dark dared not cross the circle of light. Warmth replaced terror. Around the fire, laughter returned, faint at first, then full and alive. Cooked meat softened hunger, and voices wove the first stories. Fire no longer destroyed, it united. The flame had become humanity's heartbeat. Fire was no longer just survival, it had become sacred. At dawn, a chosen guardian fed it with reverence. At dusk, smoke curled toward the heavens like a silent prayer. In the flicker of flame, shadows danced across the cave walls. Hunters, beasts, and spirits intertwined. Around this glowing heart, the tribe spoke in gestures and murmurs, their emotions shaping the first language. The fire connected them not only through warmth, but through meaning. It was protector, teacher, and storyteller. In its light, humanity glimpsed something eternal, a bridge between the visible world and the unseen realm of dreams. Sparks spiraled into the night, rising like tiny stars escaping the earth. In their glow, a realization flickered: humans were no longer merely surviving. They were becoming. With ochre-stained fingers and charcoal dust, they painted their world hunts, spirits, constellations capturing dreams upon stone. The fire's light danced across these creations, breathing movement into stillness, turning memory into story. As dawn crept across the horizon, the world itself felt new. Fire had transformed them. The darkness once feared now obeyed, and the first ember of imagination burned toward the stars. With fire came warmth, and with warmth came silence. When the hunts were done and the flames burned low, early humans found themselves alone with their thoughts. For the first time, the world around them was not just danger, it was mystery. The stars whispered questions, the wind carried meaning, and the night became a mirror for the mind. Freed from constant fear, imagination awoke. Shapes became spirits, storms became omens, and death demanded answers. In that quiet, something extraordinary was born: the first myths, the first wonder. Humanity had begun not just to survive, but to think. As the night deepened and the fire sank low, The world beyond its glow came alive with mystery. Every sound carried meaning. The owl's call was a message, the wind a whisper from something unseen. Fear sought answers, and the tribe began to weave them. Around the fire, stories grew of spirits in the trees, ancestors among the stars, forces that blessed or cursed the hunt. The darkness no longer silenced them, it inspired them. In these fragile hours, fear transformed into faith, and wonder became creation. Humanity's first religion was not carved in stone, it was spoken in whispers beyond the firelight. One night, as the fire crackled low, an elder lifted his gaze toward the black horizon. He spoke softly, saying the night had whispered to him, deep and wordless, yet full of meaning. The tribe fell silent, caught between awe and disbelief. Could the darkness truly speak? Could the unseen possess a voice? Fear and faith blurred into wonder. They drew closer to the flame, not to hide, but to listen. In that moment, humanity met the supernatural, the first sacred dialogue between the known and the unknown. The tale of the elder's voice travels far beyond his cave, carried by memory and firelight. Across valleys and generations, fear begins to change its shape. The darkness, once a lurking predator, becomes a presence protective, divine. Offerings of food and carved stones are laid at cave mouths. Chants echo through the night, steady and trembling. Together, they speak to the unseen, and in that unity, they find courage. Faith becomes a shelter no storm can extinguish. What began as fear has transformed into belief. The first spark of something humanity would one day call civilization. As dawn breaks, the tribe stands in silence, watching sunlight scatter the stars. The darkness that once ruled them now feels different, mysterious, almost sacred. What once inspired fear now stirs wonder. The night has given humanity a gift far greater than fire or safety. It has given meaning. In its quiet depths, humans discovered purpose. From that moment on, we would never stop seeking the voices beyond the light. The sound of stone striking stone echoes across time, a rhythm of creation, steady and deliberate. Sparks leap into the air, each one a flicker of thought made visible. Across the plains, early humans work with purpose, shaping sharp flakes and heavy hammers from raw rock. These are not accidents, but choices, acts of intent and understanding. Each blow carries imagination, each fragment marks progress. In these hands, nature bends for the first time. A silent revolution unfolds. Survival is no longer instinct alone, it is invention. The human mind has begun to carve its own future from the heart of the earth, across the plains. The lonely fires of survival begin to multiply. One spark becomes many campfires glowing like constellations scattered across the dark. Around each flame, isolation fades. Strangers become tribes, and tribes become families. Meat is shared, stories exchanged, and danger spoken of before it strikes. Language stirs not yet words, but rhythm and sound, the music of understanding. Together they hunt, build, and guard what is theirs. Through unity, they discover something greater than strength, connection. Within that circle of warmth and purpose, empathy is born. The tribe becomes more than survival, it becomes belonging. The fragile beginning of civilization itself. A new kind of curiosity stirs one that seeks not to hunt or to build, but to remember. From crushed ochre and animal fat, early humans create color earth's blood turned to art. At first, the pigment marks skin and tools, but soon it adorns cave walls. Hunters leap, bison charge, storms twist across stone. These shapes do not move, yet they live. They speak across generations, carrying memory where words do not exist. Each mark becomes proof of thought, of soul. In these painted shadows, humanity takes its first step toward immortality, declaring to time itself, "We were here." We dreamed. The torchlight flickers across ancient walls show it. Bimbetka, Lascaux. Horses gallop in pigment, bison lock horns, and red handprints bloom like echoes of touch across stone. These caves are not mere shelters. They are sanctuaries of the human mind. Each brush of ochre and charcoal bridges time, carrying thought across millennia. Through art, humanity found its voice, the first language of emotion and belief. In these sacred chambers, self-awareness took form. Those handprints were not decoration, they were signatures of existence. Whispers of consciousness made eternal through color, shadow, and flame. Centuries turn, and stone tools change shape, but the true evolution unfolds within. The same mind that once trembled before darkness now dreams beyond it. Memory hardens into knowledge. Knowledge deepens into wisdom. The Stone Age fades, but its spirit remains the awakening of thought. Humanity's greatest creation was never the tool or the flame, it was the power to imagine, to understand, to think. The night returns, but it is no longer feared. The campfire glows softly, its light steady against the darker descendant of the first flames that once kept death at bay. Around it, humanity sits not in terror, but in wonder. The shadows that once hid danger now conceal questions. The stars above, once cold and distant, have become teachers. At the edge of the Stone Age, humankind listens differently. The darkness still speaks, but now we are ready to understand. A child stares into the dark and dares to ask, what lies beyond? It is a small question, yet one that will echo through all of human history. The elder's knowing smile holds no fear, only wonder. From that moment, curiosity replaces terror. Across ages and continents, stories bloom of gods who ride the sun, of spirits among the stars. Myth becomes meaning, and meaning becomes inquiry. Humanity's greatest discoveries begin here with a whisper into the void, and the courage to listen for an answer. From the flicker of a torch to the blaze of a skyline, the story of light is the story of us. Across ages, fire became oil, oil became flame. Flame became electricity, each spark a declaration of defiance against the dark. Cities shimmer where once only stars dared to glow. Yet for all our brilliance, the shadows remain hidden in the deep, in the cosmos, and within ourselves. The darkness still whispers, not as threat, but as invitation. It reminds us that discovery is never complete. Even now, we chase the unknown, driven by the same flame that once lit the first fire. The stars shimmer above, silent and infinite. A voice rises gently through the void. When darkness first spoke to humans, it didn't speak in words, it spoke in fear. in awe, and in dreams. The night that once terrified us became the birthplace of thought. From Stone Age fires to Space Age telescopes, we have followed that same whisper, chasing its meaning across time. The film closes not with fear, but gratitude, for the darkness was never our enemy. It was our beginning, our first teacher, our oldest conversation.